Hi. Hi. Welcome to the Sal Licata Show. Hi. You know how he does that? Where he like gets all like, hi. None of that today because there will be no Sal. There will be no stopping Badabooms either. A very unfortunate turn of events. It seems as if Sal and Damian Priest went out of their way to exclude me, very sadly, from the Six with Sal this week. So I've decided to take matters into my own hands. And we're going to be doing the first ever six, wait for it, six without Sal. Now, for those who skip through when I come on the talk with Sal, my name is Badabooms, and I've been unfortunately cursed with the illness of being a New York Jet fan. So I have six moments here. You want to call them moments? You want to call them game? Some of them are games. Some of them are moments. Some of them are just things that happen in the Jet world. I can't draft with myself. You know what I'm saying? That's like I tried to figure out like how are we gonna do six without Sal. I need somebody else to draft. And Sal's not here to draft. Let's get some comments down below. What do you think about the chain? Because I happen to like the chain. You know, Sal doesn't like the chain, which is really a shame because I did spend my first paycheck from Sal. You remember that? You remember the whole thing where I bought just the microphone? So again, I do want to reiterate, this is my Jet fan. All right. So I understand you, the viewer, watching at home, potentially on your phone, potentially on your 65-inch flat screen TV. This does not include many painful Jet moments that you potentially have witnessed as a Jet fan watching at home. So, you know, no fake spike, no AJ Dewey, no mud bowl. Number six, I'm going butt fumble. And I was thinking about doing a slash, like seeing go slash this one. Nah, let's just go with this one here. The butt fumble. Being in elementary school, the butt fumble was much more impactful, considering that the fact that the New York Giant fans were all talking about championships. They were all wearing their shirts, you know, their hats, their hoodies, Super Bowl champion New York Giants. My favorite football team, face ass. I wanted to say it was James Carpenter, but I could be wrong. There's a possibility that I am wrong. Am I going to look it up? No, no. But besides the point, he ran into the guy's ass. Was it the brick? Was it brick? Unsure, but he ran into the guy's ass. It definitely wasn't Brandon Shell, right? Because that's too early. I'm arguing with myself here at this point. Number six on the six without Sal. We're going butt fumble. Number five is painful in a different way because it was the first time that I had really followed a quarterback through the entire draft process, kind of made up my mind. And at the time, I didn't think the Jets were going to get Darnold. I was fully locked in on the idea that they were going to get Baker. Like I always say this, up until I got on the bus to go to school that day, because I was, you know, taking the bus to go to school, the yellow, the yellow one. I was convinced that the Jets were drafting Baker Mayfield that day. Then I saw a report that it was consensus the Browns are now taking him. And if anybody else remembers, up to that there was a little bit of wind. Potentially they could take Allen, not the Jets. That the Browns may take Allen. So it was kind of uncertain. It was unsure who would be there for the Jets. Not who they would take. It was kind of obvious that they were going to take. They didn't trade up with the Colts to take Saquon Barkley. All right, and they could have just stayed where they were if they're going to take Quentin Nelson, which makes you feel good now that they built the O-line before drafting the quarterback. Like, they had no O-line then, and they sold their assets to get a quarterback. So I wasn't fully aware. I would say where maybe. I wasn't set on the fact that they were drafting Darnold or not. Besides that, they ended up drafting him, right? And now I feel as if I'm emotionally attached to Sam Darnold. Now I feel as if I have this otherworldly bond, pause, ayo, no diddy, relationship with Sam Darnold, and his success is the root and bane of my root slash bane, Reuben Bane of my existence. So that whether it be fighting with Giant fans that, you know, I happen to see in everyday life, fighting with other fans who drafted their quarterback in that same draft, Sam Darnold's success now is my everyday worry and care because this is the first time that I've ever been conscious watching a New York Jet quarterback play. Sam Darnold, in my mind, up to this point, has to succeed. There's no other there's no like ands, ifs, or buts about that. Like he has to succeed. I remember, I think it was the Broncos game with the fake slide. Remember that Kenny Pickett then Darnold did the fake slide. I believe it was Thursday Night Football. That game, it kind of hit me where I was like, I think the Broncos were dog that year. And I was like something just, we should start losing. We should start tanking for Trevor, which, looking back on it is awful. Looking back on it is very painful. It makes this moment even worse. And now I will say it. Number 5 most painful moments of my Jet fandom, trading Sam Darnold. I was sold on it up to another certain point, which I'll mention later, that, hey, we're going to get rid of him. And then the day that it happened, it really hurt. The day I got the notification, it kind of felt like I reminisced a little bit, you know, leave the memories alone, leave the memories alone by Fuel. And it was painful because I thought about, the whole process, the mono, all that stuff. It started to hurt more. Today, it hurts even more. At the same time, I look back on it and I'm also happy for Darnold. Because you know what? Hey, Sam, you always deserved better than the lowly, lousy New York Jets. So congratulations, Sam Darnold. I've been nothing but a supporter and a defender of yours through and through, my king. Despite being okay with if the Jets had gotten Trevor. Don't want to talk about that. Looks like I will have to talk about that because that will be further down this list. This is 6 Without Sal. Number 4, Burger King foot lettuce.
Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you'd want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus.
Hiring Adam Gase. This is another one of those days or moments. I guess it's a combination of everything on why this is so painful. There weren't too many. For some reason, I don't know, I could be wrong about this, if Matt Rule was in that class. I was infatuated with Matt Rule. Multiple times I wanted the Jets to get Matt Campbell, something about him being able to build a culture. But I was kind of keying in at this point on, hey, Mike McCarthy, it's not sexy, but this guy's a proven winner. Let's just get somebody who's proven in there to help with Darnold. And when they hired Gase, from that exact moment, it was kind of like, well, this regime is done. It's all over. The NL East is over. That Jet regime was over effective immediately when they had hired Adam Gase. He's a joke. He's a geek. He's not a genius or a brilliant offensive mind, as somebody once coined him. To which I say may still be one of the biggest, it'll always be one of the biggest what ifs in New York Jet history. What if the Jets hired Mike McCarthy? That was number 4. Number 3, Week 17, Buffalo, January 2016. I'm not going to do the whole rundown here for this one. This one's pretty it tells the story itself. The week before, back of the end zone, the Jets win in overtime. One of my, if I did a 6 Without Sal top favorite, top most joyful, most pleasant, most happy Jet moments, I would fight myself if that's going to be one. Decker, and he leaps and they win in overtime, and Matthew Slater, we want to kick or we want the wind, whatever he said. What I don't understand with this team is how there always has to be some ridiculous amount of build right before the worst thing ever happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't just be bad thing happens. There's always got to be a ridiculous amount of build before the worst thing ever happens. Why can't the worst thing ever just happen without any build? Why can't it just smack you upside the head? Why does it always have to be this build? You know what I'm saying? Week 17, they go down there. They're in the game the entire time. Fitz throws 2 awful interceptions at the end. Somewhere in between, Kembrell Tompkins has the ball in his hands. He isn't able to confirm the catch. He drops it. I still see him twirling. He was one of my favorite players of all time. Darrelle Revis got his chain snatched that day by Sammy Watkins. It just awful. Just chain. Awful. I still think back to the pain of the pain, bro. The pain of that day. And they've never gotten close. They've never gotten close since then. That was 11 years ago. That was 11 years ago since that happened. They haven't even gotten close. The closest they've gotten, Mike White's child using his rib cage as a trampoline. That was the closest the Jets have got. Number two, in the COVID season, as I mentioned before, we've all given up at this point on the Darnold Gase regime. Let's clear house. Let's start a new quarterback, new head coach, not a new general manager though, because we just got this one. Because we just hired this one. We actually fired the other one after he did all the drafting and the paying and all that and the Le'Veon Bell album. Do you know about the Le'Veon Bell album? Right? Do you have an experience with the Le'Veon Bell album? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're probably saying, "Badabooms, what's the Le'Veon Bell album?" Don't find out what the Le'Veon Bell album was, because I listened to the Le'Veon Bell album as if he was going to announce in one of his songs that he was signing with the New York Jets. 6 years ago, or 6 years later, none of that mattered. None of that meant anything. Does paying running backs even matter? That Le'Veon Bell album won't answer any of those questions for you. So the Rams game, right? It was just kind of all set in stone that, hey, we're going to get this once in a lifetime talent, aren't we? And it was almost, we were so close to it that people started writing these, like, I don't want to say hit pieces, but it was kind of like these plea letters to Trevor Lawrence. Don't let the Jets ruin your career. Don't go. Trevor Lawrence, you're better off getting a farm. And he'd gotten engaged at the time. You're better off getting a farm, taking your wife to the farm and starting a life there than going to be the quarterback of the New York Jets. These like letters that they would write to him, like the Players Tribune. Please, Trevor Lawrence, please don't go to the New York Jets. Like, is it that fucking serious? Like, can we just get one of these guys? You know what I'm saying? Just one of them. Does it always have to be these like it just happened with Dante Moore? It happened like 15 minutes ago. Like not even that long ago. Oh, please, Dante Moore, save your professional football career. Don't play for the New York Jets. Like, imagine if he comes out and he's just absolute dog piss. And it's like, oh, remember when they wrote all those letters? They wrote those letters to Dante Moore. Don't ruin your career and go play for the Jets. Give me a break. And we're gonna have to experience it this year too with Archie. And be, oh, Archie, please don't. Can we get to the end of the list already? The Rams game, you know what happened? They won. They beat the Rams. The Trevor Lawrence hope dead, effective immediately. They were clowning us. The Jags fans were clowning us. The Jags look like they're finally in the right spot here. It's not that I don't have the energy. It's that talking about this football team sucks the energy right out of me. The life right out of me. Number one. Do I have a drum roll sound drop in here? September 11th, 2023. The stage has once again been set. Because what are we talking about? The stage. It's always got to be a big build. You always got to set the stage here with this team. You can't just get hurt out of nowhere. Knock on wood. It's always got to be this big, grandiose build. This build, in fact, started in 2022. From the second the Jets were eliminated, the Chris Shrevler Thursday night game and the Mike White and the rib cage and his kid. This build started the second the football season was over. January 2023 to September of 2023. It was all about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. And he comes out on the field, right? And he's waving Old Glory. And this is it. This is the moment. They're finally going to do it. They're finally going to get out of the cellar. They're finally going to be the bride. No longer the bridesmaid. They're going to get a statement win Monday Night Football, week 1 of the NFL season. They're going to beat Josh Allen, and it's off to the races. And from this moment on, nobody will stop the 2023-2024 New York Jets. They get this great stop on defense. I'm not sure if it was a 3 and out, but I remember DJ Reed batted that ball down, and it's the loudest I've ever heard MetLife. Like just a simultaneous like roar, like ah. And he comes out on the field, and here he is, our leader. There was a dude in front of us, I believe, who our leader. You know what I'm talking about? And he kept saying that every 5 seconds. This dude, our leader. Brees Hall rips off a big run. I think it was like 27 yards. And Rodgers steps back. Leonard Floyd off the edge. For some reason, I just mentally, I think we all do this as football fans. When you assume the play is dead, you kind of want to forget about it for a second. You kind of like want to put it out of your mind and just like, just all right, on to the next play, on to the next drive. All right, this is a disaster, bro. Let's move on here. So for some reason, I just start, I look down. I'm looking at my phone or whatever because I assume the play is dead. I assume the drive is over. My brother's sitting next to me and he goes, he's down. And I go, that's a good one, bro. Just not today. Don't do that today. Don't try to clown on me. Don't try to get one over on me on this day. This day feels different. This day it feels special. It feels like coming of age for the New York Jets. It feels like all these curses and somebody check Namath's pulse today. Because it feels like this curse might be broken today. And I stand up, I look down, and you can just see the cart, right? Because at this point, they've cleared the field. You can just see the cart like driving around the blue tent. And it's over. And just as it started, it ended. He tore his Achilles. I don't care that they won the game now. I don't care. Unkillable. It was great. I love that it juiced me up. Definitely. It definitely juiced me up. But that day, the hopelessly optimistic Jet fan in me, it died. It died. I don't think it'll honestly ever return to that level.